Greetings, my friends. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would be so kind, please subscribe if you like what you see. Help our channel to keep growing and keep fighting the war to save pop culture. Together, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. Enjoy, and thanks. Hollywood is finally waking up to the fact that JJ Abrams is a snake oil salesman, peddling empty mystery boxes, cultural vandalism, virtue signaling opportunism, and pure old-fashioned crap to gullible studio heads. Abrams and his company Bad Robot, along with Kurtzman and Bad Robot Satellite Company Secret Hideout, were instrumental in destroying two of the greatest modern myths of the 20th century, Star Wars and Star Trek. These franchises were killed largely due to the abuse they suffered at the hands of JJ Abrams, the man I refer to as the cinematic antichrist, or at the very least, Abrams dealt the first fatal blow to each franchise, leaving it stunned and vulnerable so that others could descend on it while it was stunned and finish it off like a baby seal. How does this hack still have a career, you ask? Well, as with any con man, it all has to do with timing and distraction. Abrams' sense of timing is golden, and his legal teams are the best out there. Abrams appears to be a highly profitable filmmaker if you're not paying attention, simply because he swoops in on established properties when a studio is ready to try a revival, and as a result, he hogs credit for what would inevitably succeed anyway. After years of being starved for new Star Trek or Star Wars, audiences would flock to any new project in those two franchises simply due to nostalgia, curiosity, and the desire to recapture former cinematic glories. Captain Kangaroo could have written them, and they'd still have attracted the same interest. But the thing is, Abrams leaves poison pills in these revivals, ticking time bombs of canon destruction and sheer stupidity that detonate in sequels down the road, long after Abrams has, like any good snake oil salesman, left town on a rail. After his Star Trek movie came Star Trek Into Darkness, a film so insipid and idiotic, it made me coin the phrase fractal of shit and forever brain damaged the franchise. After The Force Awakens came The Last Jedi, a piece of cultural vandalism so potent it forever degraded Star Wars. We fans know of the cinematic Antichrist and his works, and we denounce them. But our denouncement is not enough. No, Abrams is no longer even trying to fool audiences into watching his horrible trash. We've already wised up to the fact that all you're going to get from Abrams these days is recycled garbage, bad writing, and woke posturing over the smoking ruins of our culture. But the studio chiefs and Hollywood high rollers who are too busy stuffing their mistresses on yachts to actually watch the contemptible brain-damaged tripe Abrams and his minions actually create? That's another story. The reason why these rich morons keep bankrolling Abrams despite his proven track record of making drivel for idiots is they're not paying attention. They see the high grosses that result not from Abrams' skill or quality, but only his superb timing in swooping in when projects are bound to attract a lot of attention no matter who does them, and then Abrams hogs the credit for that inevitability. These Hollywood producers don't know his movies and shows suck because, like most of America, they don't watch them. But these people do read the trades, which is very bad news for JJ Abrams and his merry band of vandals at Bad Robot, because the Hollywood Reporter has written an expose that puts Abrams in a terrible light, not only in terms of the lack of quality in his projects, but also the lack of quantity of those projects. It's one thing to deliver a pile of shit, but it's quite another thing to deliver very little of the shit you're contractually obligated to deliver, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, Zaslav at Warner Brothers Discovery has had it with his traveling con man.
That reminds me of an old joke, Doomcock. Two elderly ladies are dining at a Catskill mountain resort. One of the ladies says, the food here is just terrible. And the other lady replies, I know, and in such small portions. To me, it seems like JJ Abrams delivers some of the worst content I've ever seen, so isn't it a blessing he's not delivering more of it these days?
Apparently, Mr. Zaslav doesn't believe that to be the case from a business point of view. Currently assessing the state of Warner Bros. Discovery's various media concerns, he is relentlessly chopping away at the fat, the wokeness, and the suck. All the things that Bad Robot specializes in. And so, as the Hollywood Reporter notes, Abrams is in a lot of hot water with Zaslav. In a recent article, Demi-monde on the bubble as WBD puts pressure on JJ Abrams, the Hollywood Reporter says, quote, JJ Abrams' Demi-monde, the first show the prolific producer has written since Fringe in 2008, is on the bubble at HBO as sources say Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav is frustrated by the lack of output from Bad Robot's $250 million overall deal. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that the budget for HBO's Demi-monde, which has been in the works since 2018, is a source of contention as Abrams' Bad Robot is eyeing a spend that's north of $200 million. By comparison, the budget for HBO's upcoming Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon is less than $200 million, unquote.
Over $200 million an episode? WTF, mofo! HBO has lost its mind. Paying that much for House of the Dragon, a prequel to the biggest disappointment in TV history, a failure that alienated fans and angers them to this day, and then dumping that much money on a JJ Abrams project? Madness, dude. Sheer madness. Times like this, I don't even think I have to break out of my containment field to corrupt your universe.
Well, if Abrams is the madness, Zaslav is the shock therapy that Hollywood needs, Harvey. It appears that JJ Abrams is in trouble at WBD, as nothing is safe under Zaslav's intense scrutiny. The article continues, quote, a decision on whether the sci-fi drama Demi-monde will move forward is expected to come this week, unquote. In short, Zaslav is seriously thinking about canceling this bloated bitch of a series before it has the chance to infect the greater population with another disease of the mind from Bad Robot.
Calling Dr. Zaslav. WBD is prepped and ready for surgery. Time to remove the Bad Robot tumor.
It would be a very good thing if Zaslav would eliminate Abrams' deal entirely. And while that may be on the back burner, given that Zaslav seems not impressed at all by Abrams and Bad Robot, at least at this point, trashing Abrams' deal isn't officially in the cards. The article clarifies that, quote, Bad Robot's rich overall deal with Warner Bros. Discovery is currently not in jeopardy, though the lack of output has created a larger discussion about what the newly merged company expects to stem from the pact. Zaslav, sources say, was frustrated with the lack of delivery from the deal that was signed back in September 2019 after Abrams and Bad Robot met with suitors including Apple as they shopped for a rich new pact. Sources say the DC Comics properties have also come under the spotlight. Sources suggest there is some frustration within the halls of Warner Bros. Discovery that Abrams has laid claim to a number of DC characters but has yet to get anything on the air. Meanwhile, the lack of delivery on content to HBO and HBO Max has created a pipeline issue for both the premium cable network and streamer, make it challenging to plan for budgets for things like marketing. There's currently no delivery plan for any of Bad Robot's multiple projects for WBD platforms or for third-party buyers. Abrams, it's worth noting, is working on a new Star Trek movie for rival studio Paramount Global, as the Warner's pact did not include exclusivity, unquote.
That is hilarious! There is no other Star Trek movie. That's a crock of shit. Abrams announced that they'd start shooting in December, but the actors quickly stepped up and said, hey, this is the first we've heard about it. And we can't. We have actual projects getting made, as opposed to all these phony stop and start publicity stunts. So, Zaslav is concerned that while Abrams isn't delivering the shows he was supposed to deliver for WBD, he's also not delivering projects for Paramount. Gosh, if only Warner Brothers had put an exclusivity clause in Abrams' contract stating that he could only not deliver vaporware for Warner Brothers. But as it is, Abrams is not delivering movies all over town.
Yeah. It would appear that the gullible townfolk are finally catching up to the fact that Harold Hill has no band. He's just selling musical instruments, most of which are defective. I've said it before, I'll say it again. JJ Abrams is the cinematic antichrist. He kills everything he touches, and I denounce JJ Abrams and all his works. I hope that soon Hollywood will do the same. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, oh yes, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.